Good morning, dear listener, wherever you're catching us from. This is still Sky's Metro FM. My name is Busi Pepe, and I've taken over for the next 40 or so minutes on Women's Newsbeat. So kunzima ukuyikhupha lingoma ngoba imnandi yavuselela ngomnyaka omutsha. Would like to welcome you to Women's Newsbeat. This is the program where we review the week's news and the most topical and trending issues on our media and in our social media platforms. And as usual, I'm with feisty ladies. Today I've got two of them. Osingonyati, Losamge Chuma, Linjani, my ladies, Nyalamgela Ehlelweni.
So usingokuyenza senze ngiyethu
Abahlala nidlala you girls.
asikho serious ngomnyaka omutsha kumele sijinje
ngaba serious uyafa.
oho salibonani balaleli. Yes, Busi, happy new year.
Happy New Year, my dear. How was it? Ngene njani?
Ngingene kuhle but sehle safikele emsebenzini so kunenge and I'm now complaining, but before the New Year's, I said, but now that work has started, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, wait, I mean, I really wanted an extra week. And
Serious?
yeah, it's just been hard for me to get back. But anyway.
That's so less way,
We can't afford to be sleeping. Manyati unjani?
Ngiyaphila Makacheni. How are you?
I am well and blessed.
You're looking beautiful.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Siyabingelela labalaleli bethu, and it's good to be back in 2022.
Great to
and
be
hope
back.
we'll have a beautiful time.
Definitely, and we hope to catch you every Friday, same time 11 to 12, as we review the week's topical issues. You can join us too with your comments and your reviews, and you can also suggest issues. So you can call us or send us a message or voice note on 0774 460100. That's 0774 460100. Or you can send us a tweet on at Amakhosikazi FM, at Amakhosikazi FM on Twitter, Amakhosikazi Media on Facebook, Instagram, and other media platforms. We also have Sky's Metro. I think it's at Sky's Metro FM on Twitter. You can tag them as you are tweeting on any issues that we will be raising. So, ladies, what's on the menu today?
Guys, mina indaba sibile ngani ihlukuluza umoya wami. Indaba yalawa ama-Zimbabweans who are being deported from South Africa. It's ayimphathi kuhle indaba le.
So what exactly is happening?
Babuyela, I'm sure you know that we've got a very good number, and it's estimated that we've got approximately 3 million Zimbabweans who are living in South Africa. Abaningi of that 3 million bengela maphepha. So you know ukuthi ngo-December, I think babayekela babuya ekhaya. You know ukuthi it's always the norm ukuthi njiva ngo-December sebesilazo for Christmas, and they prepare to come home. So now, obviously, after 3 January, most of them head back to work. Abanye ngama-housemates, abanye ngama-gardeners, abanye they work imsebenzi etshiyeneyo to sustain their families back home. So abaningi, apparently, South Africans, army and subs, amapolisa akhona, they are in full force, not just a border, but emagangeni lapha abathutsha khona. Umuntu uthe vela yeqi swimming around ukuthi adoje ingwenya, athe sithe bhukutsha ephutsha emanzini athole emelelwe ngamasotsha.
Okay, so what's the difference now? Amasotsha lamapolisa South Africa asadizeki. Is that the because of Kala they were crossing the same way?
Bebediza Zimbabwean side, but what's said is badiza Zimbabwean side, yet the Zimbabwean side no ukuthi befike South African side vela kudluleke. Like, okay, the figure that they're saying Katesa Babanjiwe 89,000, I really think it's exaggerated, but nibone ama videos like on Facebook of some of them akade sebebotshiwe bebanjiwe and kubuhlungu. And for me, the first thing that I was thinking of was the loss of dignity of Zimbabweans. Ukuthi umuntu ulemuli ngubaba othenjiweyo kumbe ngumama who has all these children back home and bathembe yena uhlaliswe bebehlalisiwe phandle, you know, and we know ukuthi we also in the COVID season. Yeah. So even bebanjelwa ukuthi bangama illegal immigrants, their health is not being considered. The way that they're being treated is inhuman. And at the same time, I am very conflicted, and I'm thinking, okay, as Zimbabweans, if we're going to be treated this way, should we really be going back to South Africa? Then South Africans, I'm thinking, lani lizalitshonela kwelinye ilanga, and it's not necessary. But if I were a South African as well, and for real, there were so many foreigners that were coming into the country, and mina ngingatholi umsebenzi, how would I feel if I were a South African? And I'm just thinking, as Africans, shouldn't we indaba singadedelani? And then at the same time as well, I'm thinking, does this have anything to do with the failure of our government to provide jobs, for our people? And so the whole incident is really leaving me conflicted.
They're bringing up a lot of issues, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of them we can't exhaust them
Yeah.
today. For
Yeah.
me, it's the issue of livelihoods,
Yeah.
because I don't think anyone would cross the Limpopo as crocodile infested as it is if they really didn't need to. It goes back to the issue of lack of jobs, lack of sustainability. A lot of those people need the money. I think of the women. I've seen
Yeah.
women bepapulabantwana trying to
Be
cross that
closer,
bridge, and
yeah.
I'm thinking, oh
Yeah.
Lord, what is going to happen? I mean, Izululiana, there's COVID, they are stuck there at the border. What is the situation? uNkulunkulu angenele, but also a call to our government, to our leaders, to act, to do something about this, because these people are not just crossing the river because they want to. There is something broken in our system,
Yeah.
and we need to own up to it. Yes, Chonela Abegoli, kubuhlungu, but I really do get them. I mean, it's their country, they can demand what they want from it. But my other question, though, is are Zimbabweans really taking jobs from South Africans?
Menial jobs, yes.
So a person would call for a helper, a South African, a Zimbabwean applies, and the Zimbabwean gets the job over the South African.
Yes,
Is that the case?
from experience. Actually, into a funny, even before you ask that question, do you actually know Uti, South Africa has more than 3 million in Zimbabwe foreigners, abavele Mozambique, abavele Nigeria, and even the white community, Bonalabo, who are the capitalists, who are the owners of businesses,
economy,
they are not South African. They are not South African. And the issue is, Matageta ama Zimbabweans, kakulu, and they seem to intensify this issue of deportation ngama Zimbabweans.
But I guess it's because their argument is that Zimbabweans are not bringing in as much investment as the white immigrants. So the white immigrants get a pass because they bring in the investment. But we also know they take out a lot as well in terms of foreign investment, because that economy doesn't stay within Africa. It's taken abroad. They invest abroad so that they have a pension fund or something for their families. And the belief system is that Africa doesn't really remain stable, so they take their profits outside.
Yeah,
so
but what you were
Africans,
asking,
yes.
when you were saying, do Zimbabweans really take South African jobs?
Yes.
When Alaba Makiwa, they prefer to hire Zimbabweans.
Why? No, because that's the root of the problem. And
I
that's
think
why
because you're already coming from a background of disadvantage, when you're given an opportunity, you don't mess around with it. So, you work whatever job that you get, because you know where you're coming from, you give it your all. And also disappear. So there has been a belief they are more reliable and they are more hardworking than locals. So they would prefer to have them. So and the thing is, imsebenzi yakhona eminye don't need qualifications emningi yakhona, which is what I think is the cause of conflict.
Balaleli lina licabangani 0774 460 0774 460 I know abanye benisilalele from SA online. Uhamba njani ngemsebenzi, liyabathathela yini abantu begola imsebenzi, njalo siphilisana njani labanye nxa sisemazweni, because abanye bathi amaZimbabweans are arrogant, they are rude, they don't treat abanye abantu ngenhlonipho because basithethe bafundile. So how is it that what relationships are we creating abroad to allow them to accept us as their peers and fellow citizens? Samge?
Indaba leyo iyahlupha kakhulu, because when you follow the conversations on social media and talking to different people, you realize ukuthi ama South Africans Labo, they are justified in not wanting us. And because Bonabati, it's not like they're saying even those with legal documents should leave South Africa. I think Bonabakaliso are to go there without legal documents. And that's necessary Zimbabwe because we understand these are our brothers, these are our sisters, these are our friends, Omalume betu, who are going, because we know the crisis that is in Zimbabwe. So far conflicted because you have to understand both positions, But we have to give it back to the policymakers in South Africa and also in Zimbabwe. Uguti, there's something that's not working. Because in South Africa, remember, they also suffer from inequality and zero. So it's, when you're on that end, like Uti, you're not getting anything, you're not employed, it's easy for you to blame the next person. So I can understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, for our people to go to South Africa, it shows the desperation. It shows there's no hope for them in Zimbabwe. Like agula luto for them. So our policymakers, our government, they really need to sit down because they border. And we can blame our South Africa, our borders, our porous, but it shows the system that we have a system that's corrupt and also a system that is not thinking of the ordinary people,
Absolutely.
So vele into le buhlungu, like I have a friend of mine, he actually wrote a tweet, he remembers the time when he crossed South Africa trying to cross the river. And I've listened to his story, and now he's brilliant. He's running an organization, Ematobo. And you realize we are really losing so much potential.
Brain drain,
like Zimbabweans were losing a lot. We have a decreed person who does journalism in Zimbabwe. Now he says he went and he came back one again, was from degree, and you're like, oh my goodness, how many young people have crossed and they could have done amazing work in Zimbabwe, they could have contributed to the space, civic space, whatever, but they never had that option, and then I have a relative, I am not even so we have all these experiences, and I wish the government could really come down and start speaking to these people, because and I hate to think it's material the most that suffers. Kates were preparing for my elections in 2023. We want these people to register to vote, but we're telling them to register to vote and also vote. After voting, there's no for them. After voting, there's nothing. There's nothing for them. So, guys, we have to look at this as a wicked problem. In Dabaye, everything. There are so many things that we as a country need to fix, because we are right. This is a Valama border, but there's a lot that needs to be fixed. So we have to look at this in every aspect, because mina personally but
the number of people crossing to SA is a testimony of economic social decay back home, and I agree. Happy New Year, Tapiwa and Culture Park. Good morning, ladies, and Happy New Year. I mean, I'd also like to look at the impact on women and girls, and when they cross and there's bribery involved, even if they do it successfully, a woman is more in trouble when there is a corrupt system, because it means often it's not just money that's asked for. There's sexual abuse, yes, that's involved. Abanye they are human trafficked. Abanye bafika bagcine khona ngale emaflatini ukuthi hayi umuntu okubizileyo kasabhadalanga, so you have to work for me as my maid, as my sex slave for a number of time. The stories are just horrendous, and I am praying that one day we get to talk to these women and girls to hear their stories. How did they make it through to show that civilly is not something that they wanted to happen?
Can I make a comment? I also wanted to say, does this whole issue not speak to regional relations between the government of Zimbabwe and particularly South Africa in this case? Because I'm thinking, if there were good relations, would they not reach a certain agreement? Something that does not dehumanize.
I think the South Africans tried with that special dispensation permit for the past, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe it's no longer working because the situation is getting worse.
But you know that our government is lashing back as well, because apparently because of this, they're also saying they are now charging. You heard that some certain fee
that's not,
over all
that's
the.
not true.
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Sorry, that's not true. There is a statement that the government did after, is it Simba Chitando did that ZANU PF branch in Sandton. I don't know if you saw that statement. There was a statement here, just because South Africans the South African government is doing this, then ZANU PF in Sandton, they're also saying no, the government actually disassociated themselves from that. They said they are not involved, there's nothing like that. So
it was propaganda.
It was propaganda.
So there's no fare that's being
no, there's
leveled.
nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Guti, there's a book, I don't know if you guys read The Gold Diggers by one of our authors, Usunyati. She really captures, the issue here. Abantu bakithi behambe eGoli. That book will make you think, oh my goodness, this is what people go through. And the way she captured the stories of young girls who cross over to South Africa. Kubuhlungu, one particular character owagcina esengeniswa prostitution, sex work. I hate that word, prostitution, but wagcina sex work, and you're like, it looks like it's far-fetched, because when you're reading a book, you're like, but this is real. This is what's happening. Like we'll see. I hope one day, with the Amakhosikazi, you'll be able to really get these stories out, because there's so many things that girls go through, especially when panangabe crosser, can the government of Zimbabwe do something? It's really, I understand we expect the South African government to bear the burden, but at the same time, guys, there are people who are saying, like especially ANC, where is people are saying, if you guys don't deal with this, we're not giving you our votes. So Vele Labo, they are now put under a spot. But for even the Zimbabwean government, they really can't be mad at South Africa, because at the end of the day, they need to fix izinto ezenzakala nkhaya, ngabantu abakho abachiyayo indlu, so they have to fix. Honestly, now I will not blame South Africa. I will not blame the people. I blame our government. It's time. We can't keep looking at this and turn a blind eye. No, something needs to be done as soon as possible.
Okay, so it's 29 past 11, and my story links very much to this. After what you touched on, Samge, about the elections, the government has then proclaimed by-elections on the 26th of March, and then calling for people for those elections or to nomination court on the 26th of January, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And my question is, what is the use of these by-elections a year before the general election? Are we not going to waste money for our MPs? Because once they get voted into, lose motor, perks, and it's just for a year. And then next year, this year, campaign. So it's MPs coming in who will start campaigning for the next election. And I counted about 3 women that are going to be replaced through this by-election. And I'm asking myself, as women, are we gaining or losing from our elections? Are we gaining ground as candidates and as representatives in parliament? And laba bangena nge-special dispensation or proportional representation, are they going far in representing ama issues abo mama? Likubona njani indaba yama by-elections?
Okay, so the by-elections were supposed to happen kudala, but the government kept saying we can't because of COVID-19. So they've happened really, really late. But I'm happy they're happening. But at the same time, like what you said, isn't it a waste of money? But we need people to be represented, because Amayama constituencies, they have no one to represent them. So Tina, we are in a system that believes in representation. So as much as they are late, people need councillors, people need MPs, because right now abantu bazakhuluma lobani ukuthi take our issues to the parliament, bona bengela representation. What's said is that the government waited till this long, because I know there are organizations that really took the government to court to say, God, what's going on? We're supposed to have by-elections, after this time, why did we wait for too long? Sure, but I want people to have representation. And like what you're saying about women, there are only 3. And we know what even now mama, unless if we as organizations and if individuals will start putting pressure on political parties. But vele, you know, it shows ukuthi we are still a long way when it comes to having women, you know, in these positions. Abantu abalandaba guy. Abantu abalandaba, as long as women are there as voters, because now we make the majority of voters in Zim, if you look at the statistics.
Yes.
But when it comes to now us being candidates, I think, oh mama, I always say to people, you need to stop twerking, you know, and wearing a mantarolana with someone's face, and when now you are not, there's
Wear
no
your
one
own
like you.
face.
Where's your face? Like agula muntu ofana na njengawe in parliament. It's not good. I think women need to start demanding, because ngama voted. So I even say, in 2023, I'm not voting for any party, whether opposition or ruling, if they don't have 50% women that they're pushing for 2023. Whether MDC, I want to see more women in the leadership structure, so that I know they're also serious about having more women in political leadership position. Because if you see when you expect to see them in these positions, but it doesn't. So it speaks to us as women. Can we also take it seriously? Can we say we'll not vote for this party?
No, tell you twerking for parties. Why are you twerking for parties?
You know what?
Not twerking for other women.
Indaba leyi ehleli ikhuluma ngayo iyahlupha. 1, 2, I think it's long, and I always want to go back to beginnings and backgrounds, which I can't do, I think, on this platform already. But the question that I will pose, we do want to see women in the corridors of power. We do want to see and vote for them. But the thing is, mama bona ngokwabo vele kabavotelani. We are the majority abavotayo, because if the figures and if the stats are still the same, we're 52% of the population, and eligible voters mean ukuthi lathi sibaningi ukudlula obaba, but asivotelani. It's us again futhi singavotelani. And then nxa kunjalo, is it because we've got queries maybe ngama candidates, the female candidates? And if that is the question, ukuthi we've got queries ngama female candidates, what is it that can be done to improve either the caliber of the female candidates that are presented, or ukubafaka in a better position ukuthi babe ngama leaders who are competent? I will say ukuthi I don't know what the previous female leaders esilabo have done in the past, particularly in the past 41 years, or if we can pinpoint ukuthi the female leaders who were there before, low wayenza this, lower achiever, lower achiever. So that's a downer on our side, even if we want to present female leaders in the future, particularly female political leaders. So sisese lo msebenzi in that regard, especially in producing the caliber of the woman that we want to actually run for political office and gain the respect of the other women and the public. Ukuthi lo siyamvotela. Do you get what I mean?
No, I have a question. Uguti, and please don't get me wrong, because I'm also I agree with we need women that have the quality and the standard. You know, ukuthi umuntu lo ngamfaka lapho uzasepresent us to the fullest. But at the same time, I always ask myself, why is it when it comes to women, we're expected to have a certain standard and a certain caliber of women.
But
with men, no one cares. Because look at 40 years, how many years has it been since we got independence?
But that's why we're in trouble.
No, I'm saying, Guti, every time, that we need more women, they go to that, oh, mama, yeah, we need. But women have been, like, we have so many organizations that have been training women. We have OWAL Pay, Swedgin, M20, like, they've been training women for how many years? Are we saying what Tina is women who are not good enough? Were not able. I mean, even if you don't train me, I think I can represent women to the fullest. I'm speaking for myself, I think I have the qualities. But it's so interesting that every time when we ask, like when we have this conversation, people will say, Guti, we need to check, Guto Mama, we have the right ones. What have they done? What have men done as well? I feel like we also need to check, because no one questions their abilities and their qualities.
But why do you think Mama Vavotelan? Because it's a question I'm always raising. It's something that we've spoken.
The image of leadership that we've been given and shown over the decades is a man. Yeah. So automatically a man becomes the worthy leader. That's why you even hear women say, umuntu ongumama shuza senzelani kambe. 1 2, women do not have the ready-made playing field, level playing field like men, because for example a man uzabuya candidate already ele mota yakhe ele mali zakhe zokucampaigna, umuntu ongumama uqalisa from zero, uthatha imali zendlini vele 3 weeks down the line esethenga ama flyer waprint ama poster sejombile kasakwanisi to move forward. She didn't even have a car to go to different constituencies saying like a man would, and a man might even have support from other men who say ngiyakusupporta ngemota yami, take it anyway, ngiyakunika fuel. How many women will have connections with businesses that will say siyakuprintela ama flyer, siyakunika imota, siyakunika fuel? Very few. And if they do that kuyaqasa ukuthi velona phela ulala lozibani nguyona campaign yakhe. So vele there's a lot of hurdles that women have to jump through before they start to be heard. And capable women will actually be forced into certain corners. Kuthiwe izilala lami nxa ufuna ngunike the opportunity to even run. That is what you'll hear. Ungahlala labo, these female leaders, they'll tell you ukuthi we are here, but the things we have been through, despite our leadership capabilities, we have been dehumanized. We have been made to do things just so that we stay here because we love we have a passion for politics and we can do it. But because ulabo baba, they will make you do things that will make you feel like also human being. Samge, you want to respond?
Yes, as someone who was very much interested in this space.
By the way, Cecilia Zaipo on the line.
Oh,
so
yes, perfect, yeah. You know, like someone who was very interested in doing this space. Then you realize, you see, like, I've never shared with any of you, but a few friends of mine know, where a lie was created and these people wanted to push this about me and someone else, you know. Then you realize, imagine if abanye abantwana, if they see such things, people create stories about you to say Almond Lawrence are so trying to discredit you. And this is what women face, young women face, they want to silence you. So already more song is back away as women to say, you know what, this space less very toxic is for men, but that's what it does not work for us. So those are the things that we need to check. Mama vele as well, why we're not in these spaces. You get silenced, you know, and you suffer with, but why should I put my family, you know, through this? Because I showed Mama, she was like, this is too much. You know, so I was gonna
Umakhuphe Angel, you know, when she was running for the presidency, the words that she was being called, despite that she legitimately was in line to take over. In that heart, you know, those things. If she's not a woman of substance and a woman who is strong, and mina personally, like you're saying, someday I've told myself I won't even bother over. I can't put my family through that. Zaipo, can you hear us? Welcome, Ukona. All right, isicela imbono yakho mama. I'm sure you've been listening from the beginning. Isicela imbono yakho. Unfortunately, we can't have you till the end, but isicela usitshele what you think about the immigration crisis, le ndaba le yama elections. Ubona ngani ukuzahamba njani sis?
Our families and women. And for me, there's a lot that our government has to do to make sure the lives are improved. From Indaba, it's banana days, our passports are expensive. It's so processing that having our passports that is that are before. So that is really.
Yeah, we lost it.
Uzaipo, what's happening? But she's still on the line, so I'm not really sure on the network. Zaipo, are you there? Continue, ma'am. Sengus. Mamoyo. Must be the network. Right, we seem to have lost Mamoyo Lapana because of the network, but I hope she will be able to come through. She raises a very interesting point in the Bayama passport. You know, as Zimbabwe, you totally passport legally. And when you are saying as a government, people should head back home and yet they are not crossing over because bafuna cross illegally, but they don't have the basic documents like passport. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. So while we wait for her to get back on the line, Samge, what was your story at share that?
Vele kuhle kuyafanana with what we're saying. I saw on Newsday bekhuluma ukuthi no country has achieved gender equality. This is coming from UN. And obviously, if they say that in Zimbabwe that we have not achieved gender equality, Mina, I will speak from Zimbabwe because I'm Zimbabwean and I'm here. I feel like our government has signed so many those protocols, those agreements, ukuthi they want to achieve gender equality by this time. And I know vele sigijimela 2030, but I feel like our government is also not serious, when it comes to making sure that there's gender equality. Like by now we should have 50-50 representation in politics, but no one cares, whether it's the ruling party, the opposition party. Then you look at when it comes to business as well, like how many women are CEOs, bangagi, like we also kind of when you realize the we're very far. You look at mining as well, how many women are actually running these mines, bangagi, vele baluchwana. How many of us own a production in Zimbabwe as women? We are not there. So it is disappointing for me because I really believe in gender equality. I believe in gender equity. The government needs to be serious. It needs to really commit and really get things done, because it's not enough to have these documents that we're going to nice on paper and then we move on and be like, we don't care. So I don't know what especially Tina, who run women organizations, what are we supposed to do to make sure that we get the government to really take these things serious, because we can't be talking about this every year. I think there's Boana song, and when someone says gender, you're like, oh my god, not again,
they don't want to hear
they don't want to hear it anymore because they feel like you guys are very little. So I wish the government could be serious about this, and like what's more you're saying, oh mama bagu parliament, or those women that are, they also need to start. Well, I'm sure they are pushing, like Priscilla, I know they really did a lot to push women and issues, but if always feels like it's never enough. And so Lati, what can we do as individuals and also as women
for
organizations?
Me, it's a handful of women in parliament that really take the bull by the horns. No, I'm going to touch Zaipo before, because I'm not sure about this line. Zaipo, are you there and can you hear us? No, Zipo, uyasizwa. Unfortunately, still nothing. You can go ahead, Snow.
Okay. I wanted to say, this issue is not just affecting African countries, first and foremost. And we know, even the whole gender equality is not emanating from African countries as well. It's being passed to us from elsewhere. So what I can say, women being in leadership and women taking up spaces, considering the fact ukuthi yibo abaningi in most countries and in most places, is a challenge because of indlela, the expectations of what a woman should be by community and society. Lokuthi nje vele samke nxa ungumuntu ongumama khona lokhu nje ukuthi you're a homemaker, uyazala abantwana, uyathathwa, and you have to look after your home and look after your children, is a limiting factor. Konoko on its own, before we even move to anything else. Ukuthi abantwana vele, the first word that they will say nxa bezelwe kumbe as babies ukuthi mama, and they expect you to be home, they expect you to look after the children, they expect you to cook, to clean, to wash. Kona loko on its own, it becomes a down and it becomes a limiting factor when it comes to taking up spaces in the corridors of power. So I know you keep saying what can be done and what can we do. Is there anything really better than what is already being done that can be done? Unless we're saying, oh mama bangazali, oh mama bangabi. Yeah, do you understand what I mean? The responsibility of a family over a woman compromises that desire to be in the corridors of power and to lead. So I don't know.
Messages loud. Hi guys, thank you for this program. But for how long will SA bail Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe must come up with a plan to help their people. Look at Rwanda, a very small country and poor but managing their people. ZANU-PF must stop corruption and fix the country. Where on earth can you have a closed country for 3 years? Well, interesting, that one. And then kulomunye lapho thebo mama lapho liphikisana ngento openly nangokwenu vele alizwani. Mina njengobaba, I wish for you to rule someday, but please nxa lingazwani lina sizalisapota njani nguJM Magwegwe. So uJM Magwegwe uthi lina lingomama lodwa liyaphikisana alizwisisani.
Oh, come on.
Exactly what we were saying about ukuthi asivotelani. So yena uthi mina ngizalisapota njani lina lodwa lingasapotani. Indaba yokuya egoli asidrama or story but reality kubuhlungu. Lokhwana abantu bakithi abadlula kukho badlwengulwa ngamasela also soldiers egangeni, but they keep on going phambili ngoba akuphileki lapha eZimbabwe. Of course kuyafundiswa abantu business, but it's not everyone who's given to business. Government yethu iyehluleka. What they need is power. Khona bezayenza abakufunayo. Manje abahamba via border akuhambeki, but abahamba via plane is 24/7. Yet we are using passports sonke. Why kungafani konke? Abanye abazali lokho bethi abantu ababo kabafoni kabathumeli, yet abazi ukuthi bafa bedliwa zingwenya. This is sad. From MJ number 1. Inkosi yami umzali wabengakwazi ukuthi umntana wakhe swadliwa ingwenya. That is so painful. I'm curious about one thing in SA. Merely crying victim of immigrant influx from Zimbabwe and not any other national like Zambians, Malawians, Nigerians, etc. All these are black people. Does Mozambique have the same problem? Zambia, Botswana? We never hear of any xenophobic type of approach to solve this particular issue in these countries. The problem in SA is not foreigners, but how they distribute their wealth. Economy of SA is basically being controlled by the white minority. Akasazi chongo ukuthi yena ungubani. Hey, maningi ama messages lapha. Zaipo, are you there? Can you hear me? No Zipho, mamoyo ogeza ngepoloni bakithi. Ogeza ngochago, uthawule. Oh, suzwakala ngoba ngithe ugeza ngochago uthawule ngepoloni suddenly suzwakala. Ngicela usinike imbono yakho bakithi on all the issues sikuvalelise kawani.
As me to make sure women they get into politics. And I remember from 2018 campaigns like what she did, which were actually focusing on women's any women who want to have women's leadership in politics. And this is the reality that happened on the ground. When women were trained, capacitated, more effort was done on the more than men. Guess what happened? Because of women that are not primary elections, women who are in politics, parties, made the deal with political parties. So I want to put it now is the MTV hotspot. So people negotiated that I have to add a certain thing. And they're going to become correctly. So it's not about which women and efforts are not done. But the women who are in politics are the ones who have negotiated. Especially ones that it's kind and not about women. It's unfortunate when we talk about Amakhosikazi now, we end up saying women rape that not about private house, dead house. But when we talk about issues like let's talk about patriarchy, not as a person. If patriarchy is where it is an emotion of what the politician is and what they demand, and that's very patriarchy. If it is not a PR, they can be women. But the question is, what can they actually do? Remember, so they're not even involved. So I was going to say, they want to speak out. And people like what Joe are talking about, and I'm going to say, you're just an extra speech because that's what it's about. It's important. And this is the thing. The only thing committed to saying elections of local councils should be there. There's a difference between a government doing a business converting to city. It's just committee. But there's nothing that is bigger than that. only party unaware of which is the 2 years in and that is only possible to have a card only when they're trying to push issues like this before but so many not get able to open stuff what change because what we see just what we're actually pushing a game for men. That is the reality. So for me, it's very important. I think we'll talk about a lesson that actually say if that you are eating a party, a party should not die. You are running by the water.
Siyabonga Mamoyo uyacaca and you speak with passion. Maybe we should invite Zach as elections come through sesigrow up. Sibabuze ukuthi kanti vele bakithi liyenzani. What is your role? Mamoyo sesikukhatha siyabonga kakhulu. Please continue listening. If you have any more comments uthumeze lapha negroupini sizabala for the listeners. Kulomunye lapho ulanga uthi I think the problem is that Zimbabweans in South Africa enable employers to disregard labor laws. For example, amaZimbabwe awayali ukusebenza ama 18-hour shift or besebenze 7 days kungela of or bavume i-wage less than i-minimum wage. This disadvantages South Africans from demanding their rights in the workplace. Hey, bayithi udubo liyakwazi ukuthi uvume yonke into guys. Sesiku 8 minutes before 11 as we wrap up. Libona njani ke indaba ezilethwa ngama listeners and also sesibuyela sesigoqa uhlelo lwethu.
I'm serious, but you know how men love to use that statement ukuthi mama lizwane njengana lizwane, but I don't know why women are not allowed to have a disagreement with with another woman
or constructive.
It's always seen as zondana. And I don't know why men don't also, like when I vote, they don't ever think with labo when they have a disagreements, we're supposed to debate. But most women, I don't know why they want to make women a monolithic group where sonke siyafanana, we have the same thoughts, we have the same perspective, but it's not possible. If we're going to disagree, it does not mean to I hate
Exactly.
you know. And men need to understand the system that was created, a patriarchal system. Oguti, it makes women seem as if they hate each other. We don't hate each other. We love each other. There are so many women that support each other. We are here now because of Busi calling us, wanting us to be on the platform that she's on. What was a Bizabani, you know, but you called us other women. So there's so many examples of women loving and supporting each other. I think in every human being has someone that they don't like. But if you are found not to like another woman as a woman, they blow it out of proportion. Women don't. But the reason why women are not voting for each other is because, like what you said, Busiguti, the image of a leader that has been
perpetuated
for
over
decades and decades is a man. So also women are not trusting themselves because they've been taught to go high. Really, when women are not good leaders, you're too emotional. So men should stop using that statement. I wanted to, my last statement, I wanted to agree with Uzaipo about electoral reforms. Yes, as women, we also need to push in the Abama reforms, you know, because as long as we're talking about 50-50, one more women, if we don't push the government to reform, can we, every party, who's about say Mali, that political finance, 50-50, then there's no story. I think I agree with that. I think we need to really push those electoral reforms.
I can't take your call. This voice note before you come in. Please send a voice note. We'll be able to play it for you online.
And it's a very interesting one. I would say yes, to some extent, Zimbabweans or my foreigners are taking our jobs. Why? Because I would think Uguti, it's all down to work ethic. In a way, work ethic different situation, but experience is the best teacher. And as Zimbabwean youths, have experienced the hardship, the best of the hardships which the country has to offer. So, work ethic, which is quite different from in that situation or difficulty. So labaqhatshayo labo bayabona ukuthi no, these guys, they have a different work ethic totally, and they work like horses and they toil like donkeys and they never complain. Unlike our South African counterparts who bengagitshelwa 10 cents kuphela kusalary, umsindo wangikhona. Bengadlulisa nje ama-working hours abo nge-hour, kuba nzima. Unlike the Zimbabweans, all right, he continues working. And ubone lapha asebenza khona ule side hustle futhi into yangikhona vele asenza njalo ngamaZimbabweans.
That is so true. Our experiences have made us to be resilient and sometimes accept things that others will not accept. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I think ekugcineni ukusebenza to a disadvantage. 3 minutes to 12 ubhuti lapho bekhuluma esePoland. Ngiyaxolisa dadewethu kumbe mnewethu obufona 305 uthi angila WhatsApp sengizalalela awabanye ama voice note awu bakithi. Ngiyaxolisa kakhulu. Ngicela ubhale i-message sizayibala. Ibhale masinya nje kungapheli isikhathi. Ladies, what are your wrap up points singakavali uhlelo? Alilokhe yazi liyadlala emsebenzini sizayixoxa bomama ngoba ukathola umama laba. But anyway, what I wanted to say samkela phana tukhuluma ukuthi I invited you to the platform, and another thing you should note is I invited women who are different because I didn't want people who agree with me. I wanted people who show a different opinions and different views, because when you're a young person, single, going through your own things, some Snow has gone through her her life in a different way. She's a mother. We just need a different perspective. So every week we try to bring in different perspectives from different women. But of course, yes, it has to be women because the program Nyabo Mama. So yeah, we disagree normally like any other group, but asifanani and asoze sihlale sivumelana. Bali wenews wethu usefikile lapha. Ngicela ukubonga kakhulu. Samke ufuna ukuvalelisa?
Oh yes, I'm wearing black today to stand in solidarity with the comrade, with the leader. His name is Makomborero, Ose prison. Mako, I love you, we love you. We're standing with you, we're wearing black to say, Esh, Puma Ejele, free Makomborero, free Mako. Thank you.
Mina ngimangela ukuthi kanti uzileleni machuma. Okay. I think bazwile abalaleli. Sinqo, do you have parting words?
No, I just wanted to agree with the guy okhuluma ekugcineni. He actually took the words out of my mouth. Azathi khona, because there's a listener othe khona ama-Zimbabweans make it very difficult for South Africans because bavuma yonke into. So I also wanted to ukungezelela ukuthi okwenza umuntu azafika esigabeni sokuvuma yonke into is desperation. So it's not ukuthi umuntu uphonga uvuma ama-wild working hours just because they are hard workers. But vele udubo lukwenza uviewe izinto and ubehave differently than umuntu ongalwaziyo udubo. So with that being said, I hope abalaleli will have a beautiful weekend.
Kakhulu. Siyabonga kakhulu. It's been a great program. Siqalisa umnyaka. Please catch us again throughout the coming year. Hopefully sizabe sile energy yokuqasa ama steps ngoba uzesa lokho ecicha amagetsi. So ndlela nisevalweni lokuthi one day asoze ngikwanisa ukuqansa ngifike lapha, but all the same we're looking forward to a great year ahead. Siyabonga labalaleli abasenda ama messages labalaleleyo noma lingasathumezanga ama comments enu siyaliqhakathekisa kakhulu. Please follow us on Amakhosikazi FM on Twitter and send us your comments, or Amakhosikazi on Facebook. Ngiyacela lisilandele bakithi. Click that like button, send us a comment, subscribe to our page. We'd really appreciate it. We're also on Amakhosikazi Media on YouTube. We have a lot of stories and videos posted up there. Ngiqhubekele abanikazi bestudio i-mic. Until next week, it's a wonderful weekend to everyone out there.
Toodles.